Oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend. When they lay me down to rest, I know I was always repping. Oh my God, my whole life.
So welcome to the podcast, man, and go ahead and tell everyone who you are, what your name is, and what you do.
First off, man, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me onto your podcast. Get an opportunity to speak and talk to some people. Hopefully I can help some people with my story. Who I am, Wisdom is the name of my Instagram. Alex is my name. Just like everybody else out there, just like you, just trying to stay healthy and active and motivated every single day. I know it's not easy, and we all have our own journeys, and life happens to everybody, and life happened to me. I've been through my own journey. So fighting back, identifying some of the obstacles that are in the way and how to overcome them. Naturally, once you do that enough times and you daily go and you try to conquer yourself and you try to achieve results and, start challenges and finish challenges and reach new goals. When you do that successfully a couple times, you want to give back, because we all have eyes. You walk around and you see people who are on the same mission as you, on the same journey as you, just trying to do the best they can, be the best they can. And so when you find different ways that's helped you, you got to give back and share. So I'm on Instagram, just started my YouTube channel. Wisdom is where you can find me. And that's what I'm doing, just sharing knowledge, sharing what I've learned, sharing different tools, different ideas, giving a different perspective. Knowledge is one thing, and it's what I've learned. It's not about what we know. We know a lot of different things. Knowledge is one thing. It's about what we're going to do. And a lot of times until what you know, penetrates your system in a way in which it inspires you to take action, we don't get anything done. So I try to take the knowledge that we already know, stuff that we already know we need to be doing, but explaining it in a way that I think people need to hear it, to where it penetrates, to where we can actually yield some results and some lasting results, not just like 20, 30, 90, 120 days. I don't want you to have one before or after picture. Just say, hey, look at this. Like, I want you to wake up, look in the mirror, and feel good and feel great about yourself every single day. That's what matters to me. It's like the long term, the lifetime, the 2, 5 year, 10, 12 years, like you change your life, and it matters. And it starts here. And so that's why my message is, about putting the mind first. And it's just about pivoting the emphasis. It's not about really changing anything. I mean, what works. Working hard, being smart on your nutrition, exercising daily, that stuff works. It yields results. And I think a lot of us out there have yielded good results. You lose 20 pounds, 100 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever. But then it's those cases when it gets right back on you. And I know what that does to the mind. It's very discouraging. It really is. It's unmotivating when that happens. And so at some point in time, we have to ask ourselves, and it's what I ask myself, it's like, what is in the way? I know where I want to be, but I'm going through these challenges, experiencing these challenges that kind of keep me in limbo, swimming against the tide, And so how can we fix that? And it starts here. It really starts at identifying what about you and what about who you are today has created the environment that has placed you in the position to do the things to yourself that result in a larger body, or result in you being unhealthy, or result in you doing things that don't make you happy. What about you now, today, your habits, your work, your career, your relationship, your friends, where you go, how you leverage your 24 hours, not even how you leverage your 18 hours. What about that has yielded in unhealthy results? I don't think we put enough emphasis on that. I think immediately we get unhealthy, I got to take action. I need to go work out. I need to get a trainer. I need to start eating grass and salad and carrots and smoothies. Immediately we go there, and that's not bad. That's really good, because physically it's going to yield results. But we get in our own way. And so it's trying to identify what mental changes that we have to make in order to stop getting in our own way, so that now we can start seeing lasting results from all of that effort that we're putting in. That's my story, and that's the message that I'm trying to get out.
That's a powerful message. What took you to this point? Like, when it comes from your past, what When did it start for you and go, hey man, I want to turn into a motivational speaker and help people get to this point? Were you ever at a low point for yourself and conquer some adversities that put you in the level that you are now?
Definitely. Definitely. And just kind of a, I guess, pre-statement to that before I get into a long explanation is, expectation is critical. It's crucial. And we all have stories. We all go through our own adversity that we deem as it being adversity. And, what you may feel might be, hell of adversity. You might meet someone else and hear their story and be like, whoa, not make look at your situation and be like, okay, well, I don't see why I, was so hard on myself. But it's really not about where our stories rank in comparison to how it could be worse or how it could be better. It's more so how we perceive our own journeys and our stories. So yeah, I definitely went through my own thing. With me though, with my weight loss journey and everything, it started when I was younger. Um, been an athlete since the age of 4. I've always been active. I'm kind of an energy ball, so I had to figure out what to do with it. So always an athlete, always, just running, staying active. So I really didn't run into many health issues up until around right before, adolescence. So maybe about 9, 10 years old, became a big kid. And, that lasted up until high school. Then I got to the point to where I was fed up with being a big kid. I kind of forecasted that. And I was like, big kids turn into big adults. I don't really want to be a big adult. I don't feel good about myself. So let me make a change. So I just went like, you know, intense process to not stay on the same pace of, being an overweight, young adult. I didn't want that to be the case anymore. So that was one process of overcoming adversity, just constantly getting injured, having, very big sports goals and fitness goals, and having to constantly like recreate and strengthen my body to make sure that I can go off and play high school football and collegiate football and everything. So I really had to lose a lot of weight. I was heavy, lost a lot of weight, put on a lot of muscle, really learned how to train the body at that point. And then it kind of, everything was fine. I was in shape, didn't have any issues. And it kind of resurfaced itself later on in life as an adult. I think we all kind of have that split story, right? We have an adolescent story and we have our adult story. You go through adversity in either one. And so the adversity I faced as an adult came once I started focusing more on my career. Once I no longer had, the game on the weekend to stay focused on, once I no longer had the ambition or the vision or the dream of like playing professionally somewhere. I didn't have that driving factor that lit that fire for me, to wake up early and to not do this and not do that. You become an adult and you start working and you get into your career and you get into your long-term relationships and you start making money, you start getting comfortable, especially if you're able to create an environment that you want to create. Start getting a little comfortable. But those are all things, right? Those are all things. And if your environment and that comfort zone that you created, regardless of if it yields some benefits, that environment might not make you healthy. And at some point in time, I don't care who you are, what you do, at some point in time, we're going to meet that wall, that healthy wall. And in today's times, that healthy wall is the same wall as that happy wall. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. A lot of people are going through like a mental time right now of being happy and healthy. And we're linking happiness to health. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it all starts with, okay, what makes you happy in your mind? So as an adult, that environment you create doesn't necessarily yield healthy results to your life. And when you meet that wall and you're looking at yourself, if you're not comfortable in your skin or you don't really feel good about who you are, you have to start making changes. You have to try to get back to a position to where it's full circle. Your external also matches your internal environment. And so, I was I was at a place in my life where I was like, why am I not feeling happy? Why am I like, I got a good job, a good relationship. Like, what's the problem, man? And I look around like, it doesn't make sense. And I think that's the problem that a lot of us do. We write it off because on paper, we're like, this is supposed to be good. So we try to ignore that feeling of feeling like unfulfilled or not feeling like when you look in the mirror, you see who you're supposed to be, regardless of the job. And so for me, focusing so much on my career, I kind of turned into my career, my relationship, and not me, and I started losing the identity of what made me happy about, living his life as Alex. I started becoming the employee, the other half, trying to create that life. And then you start, losing focus over, dang, I remember this person, I remember this feeling, and I can't be him anymore because I have to cut it off when I go to work. I have to be somebody else in my current environment. So that person starts to just kind of fade away. You start looking like, where is Alex, man? He's around here. The bank account look all right, everything looking good. But you see so many people, and I don't want to get off track, but you hear about we all hear these stories, right? Somebody's a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. So we associate happiness to money. So we look at the people who have most money, and we all hear those stories that they, unfortunately, either commit suicide or have some kind of tragic accident, or they're going through all these mental health issues. And we're like, normal populations, like, how? Because we link external things and money to happiness. So we're like, in no way you live in that life and you feel bad. There's no way. How? Explain it to me. Because that's what we link it to. But it's not until you get those things and you realize that externally, that have nothing to do with you internally. You can have all that, still walk around and be unhappy and be unsatisfied. And I think that really is a testament to if what you're doing and what you have is connected to who you are. If what you're doing and what you have is connected to you still being able to live an outwardly expression of who you are in your spirit and your soul, and you can walk around and be, King Mo and Jeremy every day of your life. If you can do that, you're probably happy, man. You're probably happy. It's
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of people walking around. Yeah, it's a lot of people walking around the street right now, live in a box and they're happy. I mean, I don't know them, right? So I can't officially say that they're happy, but you see some of those people who have maybe a little less than what we would deem as a position of success, and they seem to be just fine because they may not have taken an internal blow to their identity. They're not lost trying to be fine. You can be lost and still have nice things. You can be lost internally. And so for me, I just kind of started getting lost internally. Who I was disconnecting from who I was portraying myself to be. And I mean, of course, right? You can't, who you are at home is not the same person at work, right? You go clock into work, you're not going, you dress differently, we talk differently, we walk differently, we act differently. So a lot of that is of course, but guess what happens? When you're that person, 10, 12 hours a day, and in this world we live in order to be successful, in order to keep making money, more money, more problems, you have to work harder. You have to take on more projects. You have to always try, what else can I do? 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 So our focus becomes on is constant working. That's why in our conversation beforehand, I said, if you're working, but you're doing something that you feel compelled to do in your spirit, when you wake up, you're not disconnected from Jeremy. So it doesn't really feel like work. You know what I'm saying? But when you are doing things that constantly make you to be somebody else, you still might be walking around lost trying to figure out, hey man, where am I at? And I think that where am I at? Look in the mirror, and the person that you see inside is not reflecting back to you. And heaven forbid, you started developing some bad habits of eating late, the munchies and the crunchies on the couch for too long. You got a sedentary job. You're stressed. Stress puts weight on you. Stress puts you in a mindset that makes you want to do things that put weight on you. So heaven forbid that happen, and then you turn around and not only are you unhappy now because you feel like that personal expectation that you set for yourself, you feel like you're not able to be you in the fullest expression of who you are. Once that hits you at the same time, now you're also stretched out. If you don't love that reflection in the mirror and you don't like what you see on the inside, it's like, dang, so now all these things don't feed that, the nice house and the nice car is not gonna, take 30 pounds off your back. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things. So when you can align all three of those areas, man, finances, your emotional, as well as like your external with your internal and all that, that's when you're really on point and you're on track. But when those things get out of whack, it's a long road. It's really challenging. So for me, things just started getting out of whack. And I was getting injured at the same time. I was in a cold environment. It really threw me off. I've been an athlete since the age of 4. It's the way that I'm wired. So not being able to work out and train as an outlet for stress relief, at the same time entering into an industry that created more stress than trying to just, at the age around 24, 25, I don't know how old I was, maybe 25, trying to advance my life to the next level. So constantly thinking, what can I do next? What can I do next? What can I do next? There was no room for me. So I kind of lost myself a bit there. And so now getting back to getting healthier and becoming physically fit and back to training, the athlete came back out. I said, okay, cool. I know how to do this. Work out. Shoot. That's all I got to do. Give me a couple weeks, a couple months, I'm going to bounce back. I got up to like 250, but it was bad weight. It was stress weight. Some people, 250 isn't that big of a deal. But for me, it wasn't a good weight. I didn't put it on the right one. So get it off, come right back. Get it off, come right back. I lost 30 pounds probably like 30 times within that process. And for me, I was just, I'm going to use a word that I never use. I was flabbergasted. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I never had this problem. I never had to battle myself to wake up and go work out. I never had to fight myself not to eat certain things. I was like, no, this is the way I want to look and feel. This is what I need to do, and I just do it. But now, without being able to connect to a driving, motivating, physical like achievement or factor, that drive and that inspiration was replaced with habits that did not result in health. It didn't. You work, you get off work, you want to eat, you want to hang with your person you're with, and chill out and do what you do. So I think that's another large factor to the message that I want to share. Is first thing we have to do is go back and identify some of those bad habits that we created while going through that process. While going through the process of like not feeling good and being in that environment and then kind of getting unhealthy, going through that process, it's like, where are we working out? Were you not eating right? If you weren't, the body doesn't care. The body doesn't know. It's going to start that habit just like a good one. And so now when you want to work out, that fight that you're going through every day, that battle, that mental battle, that late night battling yourself, like, I know I need to go to sleep. Why am I in the refrigerator? Why am I in the cabins? Go lay down. That fight comes from the habits that you have already created through the process that got you to the point where I'm tired of this. And so then, man, just really attacking the mindset to really go back and learn about who you are. So that same person that you think has been lost, you have to then go and find them again. And now it's not like when you're a child, we don't have a problem being individuals. But when you're an adult, being an individual is a little difficult because of what you've consumed environmentally from your parents, from school, from your friends, from your job. You have created a different avatar, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to go back and you got to learn about who you are. What makes you tick? How do you operate emotionally? How do you operate, in anger? Like, you got to enhance your emotional intelligence so that you can go back and understand. Now, this is the key. So that you can go back and understand what about you created that environment that was toxic, that made you unhealthy, so that you can fix that. Because until you understand what about you created that environment, you won't be able to fix that to change the environment. So now you're just working out hard, sweating all over the place, and constantly on the same seesaw because your environment's the same. You're motivated enough because you fed up to go work out and hit it and eat a little healthier, but your environment's the same. And that's the big stumbling block that we keep on tripping over ourselves. Get motivated, super motivated, but as soon as we have a bad day, bad weekend, bad week, bad month, and we look back in the mirror, we're like, dang, all that effort, and here I am again. Like, God, this is hard. What's the deal?
What would be the proper steps if you were to give someone advice to be able to create a better environment? Like, because nowadays, especially with COVID and what happened last year, what's still going on this year, is self-identity crisis is still at a high.
Yep.
But if you meet someone and they're like, man, I'm lost, I don't know what to do, Like you said, I'm in the gym. Nothing's really changing. So what would be the advice? What would be the change that you would tell them? What would be their path that you would advise to go on?
That's a really good question, and it's an important question because this is kind of the foundation of the redirection that I'm in, as far as like identifying where I need to position myself, what information I need to share that's helpful. Because I was a personal trainer, I'm still like an on-call personal trainer, right? Someone needs help, they call me, I help them out. That's just what I do. Uh, but I paused a little bit because when I noticed that, yeah, we train, and come back. And it bothered me when it was a bad 3 weeks and they come back and put it back on. I see they're struggling in other areas, that this training is not getting it done. Like this gym, this running, this treadmill, this I'm 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 working you, but it's not getting it done. Something in your house, something at home, something at work, something that's getting in the way, that's still causing you to have those habits and behaviors that got you in this position in the first place. So the first thing that I do now is really like an inverse or reverse approach. Is less about, oh, go give me 5 miles a day or something crazy to where you just really wear yourself out. Less about that, more about, first and foremost, before we go and exhaust all this effort. I know you're motivated. I know you want to work out, but there's steps, right? Before we go and exhaust all this effort, I want you to identify those moments that you are deeming as not advantageous to you. So, what are you doing today that has gotten you out of shape? What do you like to eat? What are your habits and behaviors? It's more of like uh, a session of just really identifying, asking questions to open up an individual's mind to take accountability and to grant control. So the first thing I would do is identify accountability and grant control. And when I say like identify accountability, I mean most people don't want to face themselves in the mirror. Don't want to say like, "Oh, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm lonely, I'm unhappy, I'm whatever in the world." Nobody wants to say that. But if you're not willing to go there, you're creating an obstacle that you might not be able to overcome. So we have to go inside first. And so the first thing I would do is say, learn about yourself. Two ways you can learn about yourself. You can learn about yourself by going back in your own mind, going through past previous experiences, looking up, leveraging different tools like personality assessments, you know, anything like that, to just identify like, who am I? Who am I? How do I operate? Learn that person. Take accountability for the things that don't serve you, and also acknowledge the things that make you great. Become someone who looks in the mirror and you enjoy what you see regardless of what it looks like. Because if you're looking in the mirror and you don't like your body and you're trying to recomposition, you're trying to change up everything and you want to sculpt up yourself or lose weight, if you're doing that, it's still, I don't like this, let me fix the external. Start first by looking in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm not, who I am in here is not a reflection of what's on the outside. What's on the outside is a reflection of what I've done to myself based on the environment that I've created. So first is releasing that like stress. That stress. I'm more about like the defense. It's all about playing defense for me. It's more about making sure that we get you in a happy, inspired, motivated mindset first and consistently. And then let's go attack the gym. Because the first thing that's going to happen is if you have this mental picture in your mind about what you want to look like, and if anything gets in the way of that and you don't create that, now you're still connecting your happiness to this mental picture. Things happen. So we got to find an internal happiness for living, period, before we even get into the gym. We have to work on that more, way more. And so it's really a tough question to answer, but it's a great question to ask because it's a question that universally we're asking right now. What is it? what are the steps to figuring this thing out? And as far as we got right now, people who, invest some time into this research is, as far as we've gotten right now, the best way to do that, to get back to you, is identifying an internal gratitude and happiness for the advantage of living life and being here and just being able to be a person. Our lifestyle today, what we're exposed to, social media has exposed us to have expectation all over the place. And so now, if we don't meet up to that expectation that we see that as our current life, that current world we live in, now, identity crisis. We don't feel good. We're not connected to what we're doing, all this other kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, so that's definitely what the past had when it came to Hollywood. Everyone was worried about looking like a model or looking like an actress or an actor. Nowadays, it's definitely social media. You got the Instagram models or the Instagram athletes, and so I kind of see it as like a bipolar kind of thing because, or a split personality, really, with media showing off the social unrest, and then you got social media that's portraying a whole different side of the world where it's you have to look like this. So people are tied in the middle where they become very confused on who they are and what they want to do because I want to look healthy, but I also want to feel accepted. And so people are kind of looking for like, how can I get away from these worlds and better myself? And that's the thing that what brings me to even do this podcast and meet people like you is we try to help people find who they really are, you got to feed your soul in order to be happy. If your soul isn't fed, and that it's going to starve just as well as you do. So in order to do that, and you don't have to ignore the problems in the world, but you have to accept who you are and be a better person at that.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, that's the key right there. You have to accept who you are, and ignore those problems, ignore all that other stuff, you know. But that's it. That's it. I think we stuck in the middle trying to be somebody else, but it's doing what's not sexy. I think a lot of people still have that in the back of their mind, like, yeah, I want to change, but I kind of still want what I want. I just want to be able to actually like do it a different way that actually works other than what I'm currently doing, because what I'm doing right now ain't working. But I still want that. Just tell me a better way to get that. And that's why your last statement is so important, because that is what we have to release. It's not about getting that.
Oh yeah, and like the fear of change is powerful too. And I love this topic. I could talk about this topic all day because I'm even guilty of change. Because my body, a little bit of my background, I've played football for 13 years and competed in boxing and mixed martial arts and powerlifting. But my body's gone from in shape and out of shape for the past, let's say, 10 years. Like I have pictures, before and after pictures, a whole sets of them. The thing is, it's a lifestyle that you have to really add, because by the time you start getting into your 30s and 40s, you're feeling the after effects of not only your health. See, your body will follow where your mind goes. So if your mind ain't healthy, your body will show it. People will already know if you ain't healthy in the mind because your body shows it. So in order to correct that, feed your soul. That's the number one thing, man.
Yep. And a lot of times these outlets, so like what you said, like if your mind ain't healthy, your body ain't healthy. We're so stimulated. We see so much on social media and Hollywood and everything in entertainment. So much expectations, all of that it's like, it's so much. The reality of the world we live in is like so much that we just kind of want to disconnect. You want to get away. You want to have some type of place where it's peace, right? We're supposed to be able to give that peace to ourselves just through being grateful, but it's easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
So it's all of this noise in your head. You know what I mean? Then we have the outlets, and the outlets are, alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, whatever it is. We attach to something else that gives us a feeling of like release and like comfort, that flush of dopamine to make us just feel better. Because like you said, there's so much that weighs on us. We just want to feel better. Those outlets that we choose is what gets us in trouble. And so that's why it's such like a reverse domino thing. Like we can't look and say, dang, man, all these dominoes on the ground. Like, let's pick up this one. No, you gotta go back to that first one. That first one is what started it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you don't attack that first one, you can't rebuild this now. And if you do rebuild it and don't fix what knocked over the first one, all is gonna happen again. And so you're absolutely, absolutely right, man. It starts in the mind, and whatever we choose as an outlet, everybody has their own. Some people have multiple. It messes with our mind, it messes with our soul, and it reflects in our body. And so we have to go from the top down approach, inside out approach. And it's not easy, and there's no magic pill, there's no key. The key is unfortunately doing the harsh reality of like facing yourself. Just facing yourself and not being scared to do it and being unapologetic about it, you know, and not being unwilling to change your environment. Because like you said, once you get 30, past down the road, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, once you get down the road, you have so much responsibilities that's on you. You have so many people who are connected to who you've been. Your reality is so like solidified. It's so hard to change. And so it feels like hopeless. A lot of what you're seeing, this depression, this mental health stuff, is hopelessness, is what it is.
Yeah.
People are hopeless. I think that's kind of what it has a lot to do with. It feels like, dang, I want to change, but they haven't answered that question internally if they're willing, if they trust themselves, if they're willing to change, if they're willing to let go of some of those behaviors and habits that they enjoy. I enjoy eating Rice Krispie treats. I eat it by the bucket.
For real.
I get the big pack of marshmallows, the 1 pound pack. Like I have to stay away from them. You know what I mean? I have my vices. We all got our vices. I like to stay up late. I like to eat munchy crunchy stuff late night. We got our vices. But it wasn't until I went back to figure out why I was leveraging food as an outlet. It's because I was in such a stressful state. I had allowed so much stress to get on my plate, and I was stressing and anxiety over my environment, over the life that I was trying to live and build and create. We get so focused on getting more, we don't do enough to release the pressure at the same time. And so what we choose to do innately, we all choose to find a release, but what those choices are is kind of what dictates your physical health, unfortunately. If we can do a lot of this stuff and it doesn't mess with our physical or mental health, all right, whatever, do it. But it does. I think that's the harsh reality that people have to just, at some point in time, you're going to get fed up and say, you know what? I'm tired of this. I don't care what I got to do. I don't care where I got to go. I don't care how many reps I have to do. I don't care how many miles I got to run. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to do it. Those people don't need a trainer. Those people don't necessarily need a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Once you get to that point of being fed up, once that hope comes back, that hope revs back up and kind of inspires you again, makes you dream again, makes you realize like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I can change. I do have control of this. I am the one who created this environment. I can change this environment. Once again can see down the road and be like, you know what? There's still a chance. It's like somebody giving you another quarter in a game that you just lost. They say, wait, actually, we're going to give you another quarter. You lost by 2 points, but we're going to give you another shot to make it up. You know what I mean? It kind of gives you that hope. So I think hopelessness is what gets in the way. And becoming re-inspired again and having hope again that the effort that it takes to change is actually going to result in joy or happiness or a different environment. That's when that spark comes back. That's why I say, you have to light your own fire, because that's lighting your own fire. Like once you get ignited, activated, you're going, right? But it has to be deep, deep, deep internal. Can't be surface level, or else it'll get shaky and you'll lose it. So, you got to stay focused. And in order to reignite that level of hope, because it's easy to say that, oh, hopeless, oh, you got to find hope. How do you do that? You got to realize, I guess, is what I realized, I put it on me, is Happiness comes from the way that you view you. You know, try to make yourself proud every day. And so those steps that are tough for you to do, that people may struggle with on the day to day, choosing an apple over, you know, bag of chips or something, that tough thing, not, listen, that decision to actually run in the morning, and maybe you wanted to do 3 miles, but you only made it through half a mile because you were so tired your back hurt. That decision is so much more impactful to you than whether or not the scale changed. We all want to see the scale change, and immediately when the scale doesn't change after 2 weeks of doing something, and we had one bad week and ate a bunch of bad stuff, now we're like, forget it, go back to my old self. It ain't gonna work. But the fact that you did it, and that feeling of pride, and that token of trust that you have just kind of put into your system, that's what really matters towards regaining your hope. Because once you regain trust in yourself to change, that's when you start to become inspired, because you feel like, man, okay, well, if I go through this pain, it's actually going to result in something positive. But you have to every day keep striving to do better, or to do what's on your mind. Just do it. Just do something. And do it not to lose 10 pounds in 2 days. Do it to be proud of yourself. Do it to trust the fact that you said you're going to do it and you did it. Because when you go through 15, 20 years and you're 40 years old and you've done a lot of stuff where you said you was going to do, but you didn't do it, guess what? Who you don't trust? You don't trust you. So it don't matter, no motivational speaker. You can be the best personal trainer in the world. It don't matter, because that person is not a believer in their own ability. First thing we have to do is actively daily try to get our mind in the right place. You got to study different tools, study meditation, study fasting, study altering your diet, because the food a lot of times throws off our mind. Study those things, study yourself. Don't just always think about work. And if you're not thinking about work, you think about your relationship. You're not thinking about your relationship, you think about your dog. You're not thinking about your dog, you're thinking about your family. You're not thinking about your family, you're thinking about going back to school, creating that business, starting a podcast, drawing a painting or something. Whatever it is that you do, we focus on everything else but us. You don't have to necessarily go to a counselor or a therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist to identify who you are. Just take time to clear out the noise. Take a vacation, take a week off from work, and just go away and just spend time thinking about you and the changes you want to make. And keep the focus forward. I say that a lot of times, keep the focus forward, because if we're not satisfied with who we are today, constantly thinking about it is not going to do anything but make us repeat the same cycle.
This is true.
You got to see who you want to be, man, and keep your focus there, keep it locked, and like sprint towards it, and just find an overall, better meaning of life. Happy just to be alive and be living. And once you start to encourage yourself and uplift your spirit, naturally, it's subconsciously, things will change. Things will just start to change. Kind of like water. You drop some red ink and some water, it's going to turn red, right? You start changing your mental environment, strengthening your emotions, learning about yourself, loving yourself again, trusting yourself again, being proud of yourself again. You start doing those things, naturally, you're physically just going to operate differently. You're not going to feel as strong of a push to make you eat pizza at 11:30 at night from Domino's when you're supposed to be going to sleep. You know what I mean? You might be in a peaceful state of mind. You might be just in a calm state of mind. You're like, I'm good, because I don't want to feel bad. But if you're trying to run away, if food's your outlet, you're going to get that pizza. So I think it starts there. I think it starts. I think it starts there. Sure.
The ending part of that conversation kind of reminds me of when people talk about the pillars of life. You have, your soul, your faith, and if you fed every pillar of life when it comes to what makes you is, and when people talk about the pillar of faith, it doesn't mean religion. It means like what you have faith in yourself, faith in spirituality, all that. If you fed every pillar just a little bit of bread every day, you'd become healthy in the mind. And it's been a powerful talk today, man, and I really appreciate you coming on. And people have been chatting and loving what you're saying, man. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can't see. I just see myself. I see
hey,
a little bit.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm
Um,
glad, man. It's takes a community. Go ahead.
it does, bro. And what you're saying is like, I don't know, man. Hey, you even floored me. I'm loving every second of it. And for someone with your success and success in yourself and who you are and in your mind, that story can definitely help, your common person, the person next to you, which makes a good trainer, but not only a motivational speaker, because a motivational speaker that believes in what he's saying and is very passionate what he's saying is a powerful man or powerful woman. So the self-belief is very big and very strong there.
Huge.
And we have a viewer that said, this is exactly what I told myself I was going to do in 2021. Work on the mental health and happiness, working and controlling my thoughts and emotions and how I respond to others.
Big time. Big time. Get angry ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Not unless it is. But if it's a lot of stuff is not worth it. It's not worth disrupting your mental space because we seldomly understand like how that's going to throw us off for the rest of the day. We allow something to get in our system in the morning, whether we heard something, viewed something as soon as we woke up, man, and we wonder why our whole day now we're kind of anxious and stressed out and our mind is out of whack, and then we're going right back to doing the same things that we did to get away from that. So it starts like in the morning, just being calm and at peace. And really, I don't think as a society we're to the point yet to where we're open enough to talk about like just being in love with yourself and life. I don't think we're there yet. I think, we're still like, being in love, what does that mean? Like, no, seriously, not love intimately, love like the highest level of enjoyment. Because here's the deal. I can't change my parents and I can't change their parents. And there was a whole lot of little guys beside me, that wanted this opportunity to be in this skin. I got it. For whatever reason, I got it. Out of all the billions and millions of organisms in this world, I got the opportunity to be here and to see out of these eyes. Who cares what happens in this life? Got to go higher. I was talking to my sister and I told her, I said, anytime you feel stressed, people call me. They had a bad moment or something. They're like, man, I just got to talk to you real quick. I always tell them to go higher. And not on the corny stuff, not on the fluffy stuff, not on the cliche stuff. No, seriously. Anytime your situation is so stressed out that it's just wigging you out, go higher. Go outside of that situation. So now think about the fact that you have a situation to be stressed about. Now think about, look around. You got a place to live. You got a place to stay. Now think about, outside of just things, you have an opportunity to just be somebody. And I don't take that for granted. And the older I get, the more I hear stories about people passing away, especially in 2020 with COVID-19. Every time you turn on the news, another some odd thousand people pass away. It hits different for me now than it did before when I was younger. It hits a lot different because I don't take life for granted. And one thing that I do share is I always think about the person in the car before the accident, the person driving down the highway. I always think about what was that person thinking? What was on their mind? Like, where were they going? Who were they talking to? What plans did they have for the rest of the day? Were they going to go to the store? Were they going to go watch Netflix? Were they going to chill? Were they going to go to the gym? Were they going to hang with their person? What were they going to do? They was a normal person like me and you. And bang, gone. In those moments, what really matters? When we're sick, we put a large priority on just being okay. When you're in the hospital bed and the doctor talking about all this and you got your leg twisted up and your back hurting, whatever's going on inside you, all you doing is saying, oh, please, if you would just let me be okay. Get me out of this pain, please. I'll do anything. In that moment, you don't care about your job. You don't care about your environment. You don't care about nothing else but being okay. Like, doc, my stomach hurts, man. Give me something, shot, pill, something. I'm in pain. But then when we're okay, do we expend that same amount of energy giving thanks for not being in that pain any longer? Or do we just immediately go back into everything else?
I'm officially taking that line for sure. I'm taking it.
You feel
I
me?
like
Take
that.
it, spread it, man. I'm telling you, because that's it's what matters. Then when we're okay, do we? You ask people, I think we heard like, oh, be thankful for life, be thankful for your environment, be thankful for your family. We've said it so much, we're a little numb to it. It's very important, very big things to be thankful for, but we're a little numb to it. I like to highlight the fact that be thankful for just being okay. If you can't find something to be grateful for, be grateful that you didn't stub your toe. Because that happens. Be grateful you didn't have a Charlie horse in your leg. Be grateful you're not sick. Be grateful you don't have some type of terminal illness that can't be cured, because we all share this experience of life the same way. We got 2 feet that we walk on. And so when you see people going through things, don't neglect to take your blessing from that. Now, I don't mean because of their disfortune receive a blessing. No, give a blessing by saying, man, I positive energy. I hope you get better. I hope you're at peace with that. But then also give yourself another blessing by then turning around and giving thanks, saying thank you for being okay. A lot of times it's those moments like Kobe Bryant, that whole thing. Man, that hit a lot of people, especially if you're a basketball fan. Him being an icon. Death hits us when we're connected closely with somebody. I don't only allow that to hit me. I also understand that every single day that I wake up, life is created and it's also passed. Every day. It's not just a Kobe. It's not just when your cousin or your uncle or somebody close to you passes. Every day, somebody's gone and somebody comes. So being here, just simply being in the middle of that whole situation, like, is something to be grateful for, truly grateful for. So in the morning time, if you need to set yourself in the right headspace, it's understanding that this life is precious, this life is fleeting. We have no idea when our number is going to be called. And the fact that it's already Sunday, it was just Saturday, it was just Friday, it was just 2020. The fact that time flies like that, we have to slow down for a moment and just be grateful for having the experience to be on this ride, because we don't know when it's going to be over. So you better put your hands in the air, scream loud, smile, and woo, while we get the opportunity to ride this thing, man. We don't know when our time is going to be called. And don't let anything that happens to you define you. And that's a part of learning who you are. Because when you learn who you are, you won't judge yourself for the areas that you're not. Because you'll understand that. You'll appreciate the good stuff, but then you look at the other areas like, okay, all right, well, I was put in this position because of this, because of that, things I didn't know. Now, okay. You won't absorb all that negativity to then get into a negative mindset, to then create negative external results and appearance, right? So the first thing is the defense. That defense, just creating that defense, the defense of setting yourself in the right mindset in the day. For me, life happens to me too. I just don't walk around roses funny. No. Every day. It's about every day. I work like everybody. I got goals and things I want to create and build, and it's tough for me too. I have family deals and everything. It's tough for everybody. All of us out here. It's tough. Next, what next though? And yeah, it's tough. And okay. And so, like, it being tough, is that going to constantly, continuously cause us to create this pressured environment for ourselves of this expectation, this checkbox every day, task list every day? We've seen it. It don't work. It don't work. It don't work. And I know I'm rolling, but it's like the millennial generation. I think a lot of the millennial generation has witnessed their parents go to work every day, come home every day, and not be happy. And so now I don't know if we connect like a traditional working scenario to our happiness. You know what I'm saying? And so I know a lot of these most recent generations dealing with a lot of the mental health stuff, and it's because I think that before we had something to connect to. You know, you get a job, you do this, boom, 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 good. But switched up, and these few generations right now, we're kind of in this little figuring out process of okay, so what do we connect value to? We got to connect value to ourselves. You got to connect value. Don't connect value to your things. Wherever you live right now, look around that thing and be like, you know what? It's mine. It's mine, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Some people don't have. I'm thank you for this, and I like me, and I like me, and I'm going to be me with or without. That's where we have to get to, with or without, out of shape or in shape, financially abundant or not. Regardless, create a defense mechanism around your spirit and yourself that you don't allow that to get altered or damaged based on whatever it is that you're creating or not creating in your environment. I think it starts there. I think it starts there.
You think people
And then
do too much chasing?
too much, too much chasing. I don't, well, and that's a tricky one too, because I actually invested a lot of time doing a lot of research on identifying like things that can be done as far as like being happy in the process of pursuit, you know? Because being exposed, social media and the world we live in today, it's like a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
On one side, it's freaking amazing. You know what I mean? We got high-rise buildings and fast cars, and we have the ability to buy crazy homes and create these crazy lavish lifestyles and travel and put our eyes on places in the world, that we've never seen, and create lives for our kids and have toys and have fun. Like, we have so much luxury and like playground stuff that we have created. In that respect, that's really good. Social media is fun. It's so fun, it's addicting. That's why we're on there.
True.
It's the other aspect of it. It's how do you view those things? Are you competing? Do you view yourself negatively based on whether or not you have achieved those things? That's the side that should be adjusted. So I don't know if it's the chase, because I think chasing is what makes this life fun. I think dreaming of things that we can obtain and the lifestyle we can create is what makes living fun and kind of what makes it worth it. But I think that what we have to do is take some volume out of that fun bucket. Let's not put all the fun and all the value and all of our confidence based on only if we can do these things, if we meet these expectations that we set on ourselves. No, we got to move some of that in other areas. You got to start having fun for being healthy. Have fun living the life that you live. Here's the thing. I don't care how you live it right now. Find fun and enjoyment in it. And if you can't, I think you have just identified the first arrow that's pointing you in the direction that you need to go to. I think you've just identified that. If you can't find any fun in your current life right now, your current value, that means that you must have been in a habitually, I guess, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, negative mindset for long enough to where now you're kind of stuck in that mode. So immediately what you have to do is start forcing it. Forcing the appreciation. Forcing yourself to look around and say things that some people may think are cheesy, like, oh man, this is a nice car. I'm glad I have a car to drive. Shoot. I'm glad I have a job to complain about. I'm glad I have kids to stress me out. I'm glad I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make yourself do that, because I think verbally it feels light, but what it's doing to your spirit is so heavy, because our words and our thoughts are so heavy. And so regardless of what you choose to say, it's heavy. So when you choose to think different things and make yourself say different things and treat yourself like the negative Nancy friend, sometimes, if negative Nancy friend coming here, you're like, hey man, why are you so negative? Like your energy is bad, like your mood is bad. What's up with you, man? You know, treating yourself like that in those moments where doubt jumps in your mind, regret, fear, insecurity, all of that. When those things jump in your mind, call it out as what it is. Negativity. You walking around being negative, call yourself out. But hey man, why you being negative? Calm down. That's not gonna help us. It's not gonna help us. And that's the thing. That's the thing. It's not going to help us. Being so crunched and pressure filled at work ain't gonna help you be more efficient. Really, being more like relaxed, having more clarity, less brain fog, more energy, that makes you more efficient. So now you cramp because you're trying to get to the bag, but being cramped ain't gonna help you get to the bag. We gotta learn how to relax. We gotta learn how to chill. We gotta learn how to just breathe easier and find an appreciation
Yeah,
for
count your blessings.
count your blessings and find an appreciation for being able to chase and being thankful for the chase and finding fun and enjoyment in the process of every day, of every day. And that starts by not taking a day for granted, right? So not looking at, oh, well, I can't wait till I get to 2023 because then that'll be 2 years and I know it's going to take 2 years to get here. And what happens if something happened in 2 years? No,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, I think we way down the road. It's like, no, I'm going to make tomorrow better. And I'm going to enjoy tomorrow. I'm going to enjoy my 24 hours tomorrow. And I'm going to do the best I can. And don't get so hard on yourself for your losses. Just do the best you can. Do the best you can, but make it a point to do the best you can. And if you know you didn't do the best you can, okay, it's another day. Move forward. Keep the focus forward. Let's go.
Amen. Because every loss and every fail is just another learning lesson how to better adapt to a certain situation.
It's a learning lesson and it's the blueprint. And it's the blueprint. And it's damn near a map, because what we're good at is what we're good at. But what we're bad at, if you can learn from that lesson, that really helps you maneuver a lot easier in this world mentally, is when you learn from those lessons. Then you don't have to attach to it anymore emotionally. You can let it go. Me, I'm a thinker. I'm a big thinker. I'm a dreamer. That comes with not being the most time efficient person. So it's coupled, right? I got a big mind, but sometimes I might run late, right?
Yeah.
So now when I run late, I can't weigh on myself and say, hey man, you slacking, you sorry, man, what's the deal? It's like, I know that I didn't, that card is a struggle for me. So I'm still working on it. It's a challenge, but I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna get right. Next time I better be on time. Next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
So we got about 10 more minutes. So I'm gonna read a few things off. Thank you for wisdom, for motivation. This is coming from viewers. And this one says, amen. I was just saying, thank God I have kids and a nephew that stresses me out. Thank God I have bills to pay and means to pay it. Counting my blessings. And another one up here in the chat, one person says they definitely struggle with the kind of lost themselves and doing whatever they can to find themselves again, and that they need to hear what you were saying today. So you're bringing the knowledge to these people and helping them out already.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's why I share. To hopefully, help somebody like I needed to help,
So now the next and final question, man. What's your future going to be, man? What do you plan on when it comes to business or anything? Is there anything you want to share to the audience that's going to be listening and that is currently watching right now? What is your future going to be? What's your plans?
So I'll say my plans, and I'm also gonna make it like almost a call to action, and that's just maximize the time that you have left on this in this world, maximize this gift of life. And for me, what that means to maximize the next few years, I just want to maximize. That means live in the fullest expression of who I am, you know. So whatever that is, if that's a podcast, I've identified that I find enjoyment communicating. I find enjoyment giving back. I have a intense desire to obtain knowledge. I don't know why. It's just a part of what I learned about myself. Like I just love learning. I love learning and figuring things out and identifying different things, and I love problem solving. And so I'm going to leverage as many tools as I can to get out that message, to do everything that's on my spirit. Writing a book, podcast, products, any ways that I can help people, I can help advance the world. If I can create something, if I can do something, that's what I'm going to do.
There you
And
go.
yeah, just work on being the best me I can be, and just being empty, man. I just want to be empty. Everything that's on my spirit, I just want to do. Fail or succeed. And that's what it says call to action. Do what's on your spirit to do. Fail or succeed. But it's going to feed your spirit just simply the attempt.
There you go. I
So
like
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Go ahead and let them know that whatever social media that you would like to show them off, Instagram. He's got a YouTube now. He's got 2 episodes of his mouth on there. So let's go ahead and let them know.
Yeah, man. You can find me on Instagram at Wisdom. On YouTube, check me out, man. I have a lot more videos rolling here pretty soon, talking about more of this and more of what I think matters most in helping people, achieve their physical fitness goals and just being happier and just motivated and inspired to live this life. So
there you go,
look forward to connecting.
Man, I appreciate you coming on here, man. This has been a blast. I actually love this one. It's probably one of my favorite ones, man. And I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. I love running my mouth. Anytime I get the opportunity to sit and talk with someone, I'll take it, brother. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you having me on your show.
No problem, man. So even after this, man, anyone that's listening on here, you can find it on Spotify starting tomorrow. It might even be up early tonight. I got to get his mouth out there real fast. So appreciate you again, man. We'll link up soon. And have a good day, guys.
All right, man.
Peace.